What up, NBA people? We're back. Your boys. This time, contenders, pretenders, Eastern Conference. We starting at the top. We starting at the bottom. What y'all guys want to do?
Let's start at the bottom.
As we
Pistons.
start at the bottom, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's it. Pistons suck.
Oh, for sure. I'll say
Easy.
this about the East: the top 10 teams right now, I think, are going to finish as the top 10 teams at the end of the season.
Mm.
So you have Raptors, Bulls, Hornets, Wizards, Pistons all out.
Correct.
I think the
Okay, let's
Raptors.
think about it. The Pistons, the Wizards, the Bulls, and the Hornets for sure aren't going to make it. So that means that the Raptors might can jump in. So there's one team that might could get in if
Yeah,
the Magic fall off. Because I just fail to believe that the other teams will. Maybe the Nets will fall down, but I think that one's pretty set. It's just a matter of structuring
yeah,
standings now.
yeah. I didn't think about it like that, but I think you're right. Other than I think the Raptors are only one, and I mean they're technically tied for the 10th anyway. Cleveland's gonna shoot up. But I think it's the Magic, the Nets, and the Raptors. I'll be fighting for those last spots. The Bulls might make a little rally. Um, But yeah, let's just get those eliminated teams out of the way. And yeah, the Pistons, their over under was like, I don't know, 24, 26. And I was like, this is stupid. They're not winning. They might win 20 games at best. This is a shitty team. I don't know why they pay Monty Williams that much to be a coach of a rebuilding team. I don't know why you went and signed four centers or acquired four centers over the last 2 years. Watch like centers who didn't pan out on their original team. It's like it'd be like if you're doing a 2K fantasy draft. Like I'm gonna make the dumbest team of all these bigs. I'm like, oh, James Wiseman, cool, and then I'm gonna get Monty Williams to coach him because he'll be pissed off, and then Cade, who
The,
I don't know how I feel about Cade. I kind of feel like it's the worst situation for him, but at the same time, I don't think he's elevating anyone on that team.
I've been saying they need a point guard. Get him off the ball as much. Like put him in a role like what CJ McCollum kind of was in Portland. Where like you can do your thing off the ball as much as you want, but we still need another guard. You know what I mean? I just feel like he can't play the point guard position as much as he does. His usage rate is too high in that spot for, in my opinion. Because then it's like you drafted all these guys for offensive purposes, i.e., Jaden Ivey and those guys, and now you're saying like I have no use for you guys because we're trying to change the identity of the team. It's like, well, then what the hell you been doing for the past 3 years? Sucking for no reason. I don't know.
And it's
That's
early,
why they're at the bottom.
but remember when we did the Hornets video in the off season? We got all that pushback. Oh, this team
Mm-hmm.
won games just a few years ago. You guys don't know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, we were
So,
kind of right. We was kind of right. The
Whoops.
Wizards, that team is just that literally is the inmates running the asylum. Poor Wes Unseld Jr. That is the inmates running the asylum. Jordan Poole is a problem.
Not like he's a problem in a good way either. Not like a
Yeah.
YouTuber like he was a problem. It's no, he's a problem. The dumbest that was my dumbest take before the year. I think the Wizards might go over their 20 win total just because they have the asylum. Like Poole's gonna have a few 50-point games that they'll win. Kuzma's gonna go off. But no, you're right. It's chaos. It's
It's
anarchy.
the only team that I ever seen that of their 15-man roster, they probably have 10 forwards, small forward and power forward, who are all undersized. And
Yep.
then you come to this draft and you trade up one spot for no apparent reason to draft another one. It's like y'all are dumb. Like this is dumb.
They're wasting French Pippin. They have Koulibaly, my boy, who I can't even pronounce his name, and they're wasting him. He's gonna wither away there. Like 18.
They
But
wasted Denny Avia. The
yeah,
the whole the whole country of Israel hates us.
so, so should the Wizards and the Pistons start trading some of their forwards and centers at least? And see
yeah,
if
they should combine. No, they should merge. The
They
NBA should
should.
merge
But
those
look,
teams.
I was thinking about this yesterday. If you were the Wizards with all that small forward, power forward that you have on that team, would you package something and try to go get Big Cat? But that team needs a little bit of star power. Like even if he can't elevate you, he can help you.
Yeah, I think Big Cat would like it. He'd be less spotlight for him.
And then I mean, if you're like the Timberwolves, you get like Kuzma and somebody else,
You get Kuzma,
and like Corey Kispert or something.
Koulibaly.
Kispert, Advia, Gafford. I mean, just take your pick. There's like 11 of them there. They're all the same.
The spirit of Johnny Davis, who was never a good pick.
Yep.
Um, the Chicago Bulls have been reported that Zach LaVine and them are on an agreement to trade him. I don't know where they want to trade him to. I don't know where he wants to go. I don't know who wants him. But there's a lot of teams in the East calling for him,
Mm-hmm.
is what I've heard so far. Is there any place in, I guess, one of these contenders that you would want to see Zach LaVine?
I could see the Hornets trading for him, not a contender, but I could see them being dumb enough to go for him just to get them a guy next to Ball, but next to Lamelo.
I think that
Mm,
the Magic has the guards to send over there. A big man if they need it. They need shooting in a bad way. Like I think he fits the Magic. Like to make sure they get to the play in. That's where I want to see him go.
there's two other options. You have the Heat with the Damian Lillard trade package, which you probably won't need to trade as much of that to get him.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the Knicks, who the Knicks have had these assets for years waiting for the superstar to trade. This isn't that, but they could trade some of that. I don't even think you would need to trade RJ. I don't think you need to give up that much for Levine. Maybe I'm wrong. You need a lot of
No,
salary.
I'm with you, bro. Like I believe that our opinion of his value is different than what the Bulls' opinion of his value is. Like they're I'm with you. Like I know what I'm willing to give up because of what you are. Like we've played you. I'm not fucking scared of you. I was thinking the Nets.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because they have a lot of
Like
wings.
imagine if you asked for like some sort of package centered around like Cam Thomas and like um
Yeah.
something. You know what I mean? Like I think the Nets would be a good spot for him.
Because I think Cam Thomas is slightly overrated. I mean, not he's young, so he could become something, but his big scoring numbers are just from having a shit ton of opportunities.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good time to trade him if you're the Nets for a guy like Levine. I mean, you're in a
The
big
only
market.
issue with that is I know for sure that Brooklyn ain't got no picks to give up because Houston got them. So I don't know what they can offer.
But they did get some in the Durant.
Oh, that's true.
But
But then again, like you said, I don't know what I'm willing to give up for a Levine because you're the kind of player that'll put a team over the top if they're kind of scratching the top, but you're not going to get a team to the top.
OKC.
I don't want to see him mess that up. That team's got dogs on it. Like they play basketball the right way. I don't need some dude to come out there and just try to shoot a bunch of threes.
I don't love Levine's fit anywhere for a contender because there's been Sixers talk because of losing Harden, but I like Maxey's doing fine as your two. You don't need.
The only place I feel safe is when you said Heat, because I think Eric Spoelstra and Jimmy Butler could keep him in check, kind of shit.
Yeah.
I could see something packaged around Tyler Hero and some picks.
Finally get Hero out of there.
I don't know why people think that dude's elite. People were so when I mentioned that they were like, they're not giving up. Hero is stupid. Hero's better than Levine. I was like, no, they're the same player. They're the same fucking player, except one's a little bit darker. Hero
And younger.
That's it.
And one can dunk better.
Right.
The
One can
lighter
dunk
one.
better, one can do better, but yeah.
Looking at, I guess, Cavaliers, do you see them moving up? I mean, they're at 10th right now. Do you see them moving up as a contender? Or are they still just kind of a middle of the pack in the East?
I thought they were a contender last year, or were gonna be, and then Donovan Mitchell does what Donovan Mitchell does, and he shat the bed in the playoffs. Even though he played really hard, but I mean, it's obvious to me. No disrespect to Spider Mitchell, is that you cannot be the guy on a winning team.
I think there's 3.5 contenders in the East: Celtics, Bucks, Sixers, and you got to give the Heat a half. credit because they made the finals, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Cavs are a contender. I think what happened was the Knicks figured them out in the playoffs, and now the league figured them out, and they just need to readjust. Everyone knows you can't play Allen and Mobley together. It's just not enough offense, and everyone figured out how to attack that too. So now they're going to need to readjust or fire their coach and get a coach who can readjust. I'm not like ringing the alarm. I think they're going to make. I think they're going to be in the 4-5. They're like a destined for the 4-5 series again in the East, but I don't see them. They might win the 4-5 this year, but I don't see them getting past any of those top 3 or 4 in the East.
Is this ridiculous? I like Atlanta more than I like Cleveland.
I was high on Atlanta this year too.
Even if you look at Atlanta statistically, they're kind of like pretty good at everything. You know what I mean? And Trey's not particularly shooting well. I just think that team, it's like we've said for the past 2 years about a bunch of teams. They've just kind of been together. You know what I'm saying? So you're bound to just figure it the
Yeah.
fuck out at some point. And I feel like that's what they're on the verge of doing. It's like
And the
Trey's
Hawks,
tired of losing.
the Hawks are kind of like the T-Wolves last year. I think that was as worse as you're going to get from the DeJounte Young combo and all those young trade rumors and all that. I think this is a year that they put their foot down, and I think they can win that division over Miami too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love their bigs. That's the one thing I'm a little worried about. If they could somehow improve at the 4 and the 5.
I've heard people were calling for Capella anyway.
Yep. People were calling for him. Going into the top 4 as of right now, you have Celtics, 76ers, Bucks, but the Pacers are a surprising number 3, I feel.
That's the team that I think, and not being a hater, because I'm the biggest freaking Tyrese Halliburton fan there is out there. Is I think that's the team that's gonna fall. Like they're not particularly good at they're mid at defense and they're terrible at transition defense. But I think that they're in the number 3 spot right now because they're shooting the 3-pointer at like a historic rate. It's crazy how good that is.
Right, that's not going to sustain. I think they're going to be the 6th seed. I think they're that good that Halliburton's going to take that much of a leap. So the Bucks are going to get in the top 3 somewhere, and then the Heat or the Hawks, I think, go in there as well. So yeah, I think 6 is reasonable because I don't think there's enough teams behind them to jump them. And not even record. I know it's like everyone's separated by a game right now. Like the freaking 13th seed and the 3 seed are only 3 games back. But just talent-wise, I think they're good enough to be a playoff team. So
yeah, for sure.
I agree, though. They're going to drop. They're not keeping those numbers up.
The Bucks, after the Lillard trade, of course, everybody had them as cream of the crop and everything. Do they? I mean, they're 7-4. They're not doing bad. Do they figure it out? You said squeak into the 3rd seed for sure.
You know what? You know what makes me nervous about the Bucks is because the players I don't worry about at all. I know that team is getting to the playoffs as a home team, and when that time comes, then the stars will be stars. Like Giannis will do his shit. You can depend on Brook. You can depend on Middleton, and then when it's Dame time will give it to you. I get more worried about how the communication transitions from that first-time head coach to them, because that's what I believe to be the issue. Not even that it's an issue, but it's like that's the problem because he's trying to figure out how to do his job when they're trying to tell him, no, this is how we win.
Yeah, that's been the issue so far, 100% right. And that happens anytime you get a new coach, but especially a rookie coach. And you got rid of the Bud drop defense, but then they're getting torched in the middle, and Brooke is like, this is what I know, this is what we do. So now he's implementing some of that, and the defense has improved. There's going to be a lot of that. So early on, they're going to, I think, be around the 4 or the 5. I expect them to finish 2 seed, maybe 3 seed. They just have too much talent, and they're going to figure stuff out. And that's fine. I'd rather experiment. When they won the titles as a 3 seed, and that season was a lot of experimentation as well. Every year they go in as the hot number 1 seed. It doesn't usually work out anyway. So But yeah, that's going to be the thing. And in the playoffs too, Bud was not a good in-game adjuster. So maybe Griffin will be. We'll have to see. But that's something to definitely keep an eye on.
I
I like
I
that
agree.
team though.
Um, last two, the Celtics, 76ers, two of the top teams in the NBA, two of the top teams in the East for sure. Celtics 9-2, 76ers 8-3.
The Celtics are what the Celtics are. They're just built to compete for a championship. It's always to me a matter of like, will you get out of your own way? Because it's the same thing under Missoula. Is like there's times where like they'll play a quarter and a half where things are rolling and they look unbeatable, and then for about 4 minutes they forget what they're doing, and the offense just shuts down. It's like that can't happen on a championship team at all.
I'll, I'll be honest. Boston was always the team that stressed me out the most as a Bucks fan. I'm kind of scared shitless to face them this year. Drew Holiday brings something that Marcus Smart. One, he's a better defender, and I think he has more of an offensive game. That
Mm-hmm.
scares me. That's improving. And then you add in Porzingis too if he stays healthy. This is the if Missoula doesn't get this team in the finals, he should be fired. And that's like that
Oof.
sounds dramatic, but with how bad of a job he did in last year's playoffs, the fact that they even brought him back was a surprise. And if you can't, this is a finals team. This is a championship level team, and I hate to say that, but it is. And I mean, it looks like once again it Bucks Celtics, but we said that all last year, and that wasn't the case. So you never know in the playoffs. But you're right again. I don't, it's if they can get out of their own way, and they didn't even look good in that Hawks series. They
Nope.
won in six, but like
Let me
every
tell you, the problem with them is it's not the problem. It's like that team does well when they get Jalen Brown to pick his spots. Like, don't come out starting the game thinking that you're freaking Kobe Bryant. Like it because like we do good to play as a team, and it's hard to match the athleticism on that team. But when it gets a little bit stagnant and he's on the court with the rest of the guys off the bench, like that's your spot to be aggressive. Take those 3 4 minutes, and when he does that properly, that team is hard to beat because you're just not a team in the East that has the depth that they do. You're just nobody. I don't know. I like it.
Um,
My boy
what about
Horford was balling this.
the 76ers? They're finally past the James Harden drama.
Mhm.
Uh, Maxi has been balling. I mean, we're being honest. Are they like?
I'm
Do
gonna
they
be
have a
honest.
chance?
Like when you have Embiid, who could probably want if he wanted to be the most dominant player on the court, he could, but he just doesn't always do that. I still feel like that team is one player away.
they got
Like who?
deeper. But yeah, they still don't scare me. Like the idea of playing Boston in a series stresses me out, like physically. But the idea of playing Philly, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's a cakewalk, and I'm not saying it's a guaranteed win. It just doesn't scare me the same way because what we've
Mm-mm.
seen from Embiid in the playoffs, and I like Maxey a lot. He's balling out. But yeah, what's the third guy with the Bucks? It's Middleton. With the Celtics, it's now Porzingis or Holiday. Who's your third guy? Is it?
But like
I
with the Bucks, it can be Middleton, it could be Lopez. You know what I'm saying? It could change from game to game. But with like the 76ers, I watched them play yesterday, and it was like Tobias Harris was uber aggressive in the beginning of that game, and he was going bucket for bucket with Tatum. But it's like you chose today to do that. I've seen plenty playoff games where you just didn't show up. So
Well,
like I think they should, considering you have picks to give up and expiring contracts and some half-ass decent young talent, they should aggressively be trying to find them a wing, like the guy who should have been there all along in Mikal Bridges.
mm,
damn, that would be nice.
They drafted him.
I know. I'm just for me. I think Tobias is the guy. I mean, I know people are like, "Oh, his numbers are good and this and that," but like you said, when it comes down to it, I've seen a lot of games where you and Harden were doing the pickaboo. I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
show up thing. Upgrade it as much as you can. Um, I mean, all in all, these are going to fluctuate for sure. Celtics, 76ers, Bucks still look like the top three in this division to compete. I know people are not gonna like that. Hornet fans, sorry to say we told you so, but we told you so. Sorry about that. Yeah. Some of you guys, though, I mean, hey, Heat, go get Levine, I guess. Do something different, change it up a bit.
No Magic.
Or Magic, I'm cool with that. They deserve some love too. Hey. NBA fans, Eastern Conference fans, make sure you like, subscribe, drop comment down below if you agree, disagree with us. We'll be doing a lot more of this stuff on some teams also. Much love, everybody. We're out of here. Later.
Peace.
Later.
How much I'm working for this? I swear my dreams are too important.